Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm gonna go ahead and do another flint knapping video, this time with an empty bourbon bottle. In this case, it's an A.D. Laws 4-grain straight bourbon. This is like a $100 bottle my friend sent me from Colorado. My goal is to very, very carefully break away the side of this bottle and preserve that little embossed pattern right there. Really difficult endeavor with just hand tools. Might not work. Let's give it a try. All right, I'm going rogue. I'm gonna come off the side here and just hit it hard. All right, let's see what we have left. Okay. Well, I've already cut myself. How about that? Let's take a closer look. That glass is no joke. So, it actually obliterated most of that piece. I've still got enough to possibly make a little triangular shaped arrowhead. What do you think? Want me to give it a try? Alright, I'm just going to work with that existing crack. And there we go. Set this one aside. So we're talking about a 1/4 inch thick piece of very sharp glass. If anything, I might be able to get a little tiny point with a little bit of that pattern left on the face. First step, as always, is to grind, especially with it being so sharp. Why don't I go ahead and break that off, and I'm just going to pressure flake this whole thing. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. So now, normally I would zigzag, but I'm going to try to drive some flakes because I think this piece will hold together. You just get a feel for different materials, but let's give it a try. Okay, so there's the first flake, right? There's the first flake scar. Little tiny one, but you can see it. I'm going to keep going along, see what it wants to do. Let the piece talk to me. What I mean by a good texture is that some glass, if I put the slightest pressure on it like that, it would just break. This is holding flakes. See those 3 flakes right there? Holding the flakes without breaking. And of course, over time it'll get narrow. But, wow. Quality bourbon, quality glass jar. All I'm doing is just right on that edge, pushing down and in. You see my flake scar pattern? You see my flake scar pattern? So this is the bottom. Again, I wanted to keep that kind of Celtic looking pattern on that side. I'm going to go around this piece and get back to you in just a minute. Okay, so we ran into something that's pretty common when you're working especially with natural materials, and that is angled. Okay, so it's not perfectly perpendicular. So if I'm trying to shoot flakes here on this side, I'm kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage. I don't want to take too much off this side because of that pattern. So my solution is to grind it really well, like I did, and I'm going to change from a fat pressure flaker to this narrow one where hopefully I can get in there and do a little better job than the fat one would do. Okay, and there's our top with the embossed pattern. Here's our bottom. We want to drive flakes this way, so put it in our pressure flaking pad like this. I'm going to try. Now again, this is hit or miss. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. And right on that little edge, okay, I did. I got a notch. Or should I say a flake. Got another one. Really almost no pressure at all. I'm being super gentle. Okay, so the flake scars are meeting across the middle. If only I can keep this up, right? Might have to grind some more. See, it's slipping. Okay. That one did not slip. Okay. Okay, that one slipped. Slip. Slip. Got a little bit. Got a little bit off that. So this last part right here, I'm going to grind it to make it dull, white, give it some texture, even the little glass powder on there is going to help me get a grip when I put my flaker on there. I'm gonna have to go in series, like plucking the kernels of corn off a corn cob, because what that does is you've released the pressure on the previous side, and that's better sometimes than just going in to like a virgin piece of glass or stone. Okay, this tip is gonna be belligerent, but we can do that later. Okay, so our flake scar looks pretty good on there. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come across here, the flat side, keep my pattern up here. So watch, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so that just took off the paper. So you can take that little piece of paper off. You see the flake scar right there? I'm just gonna come up to where the embossing starts. Nice little perky sound. Means you're chipping it right. I don't know, can sound be perky? Okay, there we go. So we're pretty much up to the embossing on there. So now I'll do this other side. Probably need to grind that a little better. You see it's getting thinner too. Go ahead and grind both. Alright, I'll show you a trick here when we get done with this, how to make a bevel after the fact, instead of starting with a beveled edge. There's our tip, giving us a little trouble. Okay, so you see what I mean by giving us some trouble? Look at, see it sticking up there? So here's where I'm just going to come face on right into that. So like this, just push really down more than in. Okay, watch your fingers, right? Okay, so here's what we have. Let's put it on here. Okay, so I've got the embossing at that end. I've got the pressure flaking scars on that end. This entire side has pressure flaking scars. And so that trick that I was going to tell you is, look, we've got a pretty gnarly width. Now I'm going to do the zigzagging. And then I can just do some finishing little chips. So let's start at the tip. I'm mostly going down. So start down. There we go. Now flip it. And now what we have is a little platform right there where we can drive down. Okay. And then you flip it. And now we've got a new little platform edge here. Okay, I'm also kind of raking this way. Okay, so now come back here. Let me show you up close. See, so now I got this little spot right here. Just blow that down. Super light. And what's going to happen is by the time I do this whole edge right here, it's going to turn from basically this gnarly flat surface to a little zigzag sharp edge, and then I can pop off the little tiny points. So let me go ahead and zigzag. Let me go ahead and zigzag and I'll show you this. Zigzag, zigzag. Just like the rolling paper. You know that's why ZZ Top is named ZZ Top? ZZ for zigzag, and Top is another rolling paper brand. See, you learn something every day. A little zigzaggy, kind of a serrated edge right now. So I'm going to go around and do that, and then we can worry about the final shape. Okay, we have all of the face taken off that I want. And so now we want to think about the shape. So I would say I gotta obviously make a sharp point there. I'm also gonna come pretty much flat across here. And the way I do that, I just break it off. So you see how this is higher. So I'm mostly going down into the pad. Okay. It's just kind of crushing, really. This isn't even flaking. Okay, now you can flip it over this way, and you got your edge is close to the bottom this way, so it's not going to break the piece. Okay, and that is looking pretty flat across. Now you can take your stone, and I'm doing one direction. Let me back up. Going one direction. Flip it. And now we have pretty thin but dull, flat backside. And now I'm just going to work on getting this symmetrical and bring it down to a point. And the way I'm going to do that, grind, grind, grind. You grind so that you can see every place where there's a little one sticking down. I'm going to pop that off. Pop, pop, pop. And try to get this center line nice and straight instead of zigzaggy. So watch how fast this is. You just pop, pop. Be really careful up here at the tip. And so what I'm going to do over the next minute or two is just go around the piece, trying to make straight lines and to get this to a point. Okay, so here's where we stand. I'm pretty happy with these somewhat straight edges, and that point is fine with me. Now, this corner is broken off, and for that reason, I think I'm going to break this corner off, and I'm going to do corner notching, so they'll come up like this. Let's start with this one, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the very beginning of a corner notch. You see it? Now, I'm going to switch to a horseshoe nail pressure flaker and probably not go in very deep. So you see I've got that little shallow C shape. Flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and just make it a typical arrowhead, like a pointer, like a cursor on your computer. So many different styles of arrowheads, and we don't really know much about the functionality of the different designs. Let me take that off. So, if you want yours to be a unique piece, go ahead. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and make this a little more symmetrical. So, for example, this notch is deeper than this notch, so I'll just bring this up a little bit. But this is all just little tiny cosmetic stuff. You see the point is finished. Okay, let me just do some little details and I'll show you the final product. Okay, I'm going to call that piece done. Just a fun little Christmas tree shaped arrowhead. What was really fun was trying to preserve the embossing. And you know, this is just the type of thing that helps you keep practiced and lets you face some new challenges. But this would be a totally functional arrowhead. Just a fun little project. All right, peace out.